Before you drop thousands on a car for Turo, I need you to do this one thing. Stop right now. This mistake can cost you your whole investment. Now, I'm going to be giving you 7 tips that seasonal hosts wish that they knew from day one. And number 5 is going to be the one that's going to shock you. So sit back, take your notes out. We're about to jump into it. This can literally make or break your profits. So in today's video, we're going to talk about a few things that's going to get you going. Again, we're going to talk about 7 tips. Now, these are some things that I want to talk about. There are some assets out there that Turo actually have on their website that you can take advantage of. This is some things dealing with their calculator about predicted earnings versus cost, return on your investment, inspection history, all right? Because that's important as far as your maintenance goes. Factors of insurance tiers and liability caps, and negotiating like a pro when you're dealing with buying your vehicle, and having a plan, like a 6-month roadmap. You're like, what's that mean? And we're going to talk about this. We're going to go into it. And we're going to talk about the running numbers that you're going to have to go against, which is in chapter 2 of my book, Starting Out on Turo. So before we even get into it, I need you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you hit the subscribe button, we can get you in the right direction. We can get you going. We will get you where you need to go to. Excuse me, I'm just looking at a guest right now renting out a car. So I hope that doesn't interfere with anyone. So we're going to tie in Starting Out on Turo, again, this book, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you need to be mindful of when you're doing your thing with your vehicle. So going into the book here itself, we want to talk about understanding liability. We want to talk about vehicle maintenance. So I'm just going to keep it very clear. Your liability is something that is going to really, really change how you see about your vehicles. You may not want to get a vehicle that has a bunch of issues, right? You may want to stick with a brand known like Honda or Toyota. You may want to have a vehicle that's going to run for a long time versus a fancy luxury car. It depends on your comfort level and how your budget is. Some people might want to go for luxury because they know that they have a certain clientele. I'm not saying that you should walk away from those people, but I do say that if you're starting out, you want to be mindful. My recommendation with anyone is that when you get a vehicle, you want to go ahead and get a vehicle that you do not have to finance. I've been down this road before. A lot of people start to get the big head. I remember a guy not too long ago who went to all these dealerships to get 50 cars. Now, he financed all of them. Now, you might say, well, that's stupid. And it is, because it only takes one car to be damaged, or they go through the fine print and say, hey, this vehicle is not allowed to be on this platform, or not allowed to get gap insurance because of that. I had that happen to me, where I had a vehicle and I had the insurance for it, and they said, wait a minute, your car is doing what? We're not going to cover it. And they just canceled the insurance immediately. So that's something that you want to take mindful of. So guys, the next thing that we're going to talk about, since we are on liability, we're going to transition to go right into very smart tool that a lot of people don't even look at before buying a car to see how it's going to apply or where they at in a location. And this is the rookie mistake. This is the Turo Carculator. It's the car calculator. So basically, when you go here and you're looking at what vehicles is going to bring you the nice return on investment, you can use this and it can give you an estimate. So before you go to the dealership, before you go to an auction or whatever you may be going to get your vehicle for, you know exactly how it's going to turn out. So using this calculator is absolutely free. This tool is going to show you exactly, the car idea, what makes sense to you, and if it's a financial trap. So if you're going for a Maserati or you're going for a Lamborghini in Ohio, you're going to say, okay, how many Lamborghinis out here and how that's going to look versus someone in Miami that might make more sense. Means that I might need a truck in Ohio versus a Lamborghini. That's not an everyday driving thing, typically. And you just plug and play the make, model, and the year, and boom, the estimates for you are totally going to show you a monthly income, expenses, net profit based on your zip code. Don't skip this, guys. Whatever you do not skip this, because this helps you avoid a lot of mistakes that can drain your wallet. Think of this as your Turo crystal ball. So guys, now that we talked about this, and now you're seeing the moneymaker of the car calculator by Turo, don't do anything yet. Okay. We're going to talk about what you need to do next. And this is dealing with, don't sign in anything. Don't get it out there. I got my money. We need to look at the maintenance history of the vehicle, the whole entire maintenance history. If you're not buying a new car, you're buying a used car, you want to know that maintenance history. You want to know what the ups and downs. You want to know what the recalls are, what is going to typically fail on the vehicle based off the mileage of what it has. Is it going to have bad transmission? It's going to have bad engine problems. It's going to have electrical issues. You want to know all that stuff. Looks can be deceiving. They can shine up a car and do a nice paint job and you think this thing is great, but then you skip one oil change or we got warm brakes or a busted transmission. Now, guess what? You're out of pocket. And ask for the service log. If anyone's trying to say this, you can say, I want to see the service log. I want to see the maintenance. I want to see if there's a damage report. Show me the Carfax on this vehicle. If they can't produce this, then you need to walk away. You're not just buying a car. You're buying someone else's problem at the end. And this is supposed to be an investment. It's not supposed to be a sunk cost. So if they don't have those records, then step away. That tells a lot about that person. So we're going to talk about tip number 4, insurance and tiers and liability caps. This is where a lot of people get hung up at. Now, this is a factor that you have to understand in what your insurance is going to be like. And for insurance, that means protection plan, meaning that when your car is being rented out, you have a protection plan. And that plan can go all the way up to 90%, all the way down to like 60%. Higher it is, the more they're going to be able to give you a lower deductible, almost to zero, but at the cost of taking profits from you at the end of that trip. So you have to be mindful. If you have bare minimum insurance, that means that you're going to be paying mostly out of your pocket. So it depends on what you're trying to go for. If you got a burner, meaning that this car is really on its last leg, but it still rents, okay, maybe you want to go for that one because you know that if it gets an accident, it's not going to be covered, right? Meaning that it's not going to be, we're going to repair it. It might be like, this is a total loss. And some people may do that, but you have to plan it out right. Now, it depends, right? It depends on what you want to do. If something goes wrong, if you say, I don't take the pictures or whatnot, you skip pictures, this can get your stuff hung up in the whole claims issue. I've dealt with that where Turo has talking to me or spoken to me, and they will sit there and say, hey, we need more pictures. We need to get the metadata and things like that. And you don't have the right picture at the right time, meaning 24 hours before you check in, 24 hours after the car comes back. It's going to be a very dicey situation. They may deny your claim, and you do not want that if something is very serious. So take that in mind when you're looking at the insurance plans when you get to the step of buying the car and then placing it onto the market. If you pick the wrong tier for the wrong car, you could end up losing money and taking all that risk. So if you go in where you put very little insurance on a very expensive car, you might have to fork up the money, where you might put too much insurance or too much protection on the vehicle. And then at the end of the day, it then took big gap of your money for a car that, if it gets an accident, you can get the money back regardless. So take that into consideration. Now we're at tip number 5. Oh my God moment. Oh my God moment. People forget about. People are like, well, I didn't know about the And also started on Turo in chapter 2. We talk about market depreciation leverage. A lot of people do not think about this. Now, this one blew my mind when I started out too, but because nobody talks about it, ready? You can predict how much negotiation room the seller has based on a car depreciation curve. That's right. Every car loses value at different rates. If you know where your car is on the curve, you can make offers that sound low to them, but actually fair based on market math. For example, if a car dropped $6,000 in value over 2 years and they ask for a high retail, you can hit them with logic, data back counter. They can't argue with that. They can't argue with the facts. This is how you get profitable cars in your fleet. You start winning before the car even hits your lot to be rented out. I'll walk you through how depreciation works with these cars and started on Turo. And if you want to know more about this, about the buyer's edge, meaning that you are the buyer, you got the edge over the seller, you got to check this out. So we're going to wrap this up very soon. Got 2 more tips here for you. And make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end because I'm going to be dropping some knowledge for you here. Now, tip 6 is about plan for maintenance reserves. That's right. You just don't buy a car. You got to budget in the wear and tear, and you got to set aside a 6-month roadmap for maintenance. That's what I was talking about. You got to have a roadmap like, hey, if this is coming up, if I'm preparing for the summer or spring or things like that, where can I do my maintenance? You have to take into account for brakes. You got to take into account for tires, oil changes. Things come up fast. Unexpected maintenance, you got to have that budget to the side too, because you got to have cash on hand or warranties on hand. You got to have these things in play, and you got to have a trusted mechanic. That's going to probably be the most difficult thing. If you're just taking the Firestone, this and that, it's not going to work. It's not going to work long. But if you have a trusted mechanic who knows what they're doing, they can back up the stuff, or you can work a deal with an independent mechanic shop, then you win on the long run here. And I'm telling you, this is something that mess up a lot of people. I've seen folks mess up where they had to just shut everything down because they couldn't keep up with the maintenance. They got ahead of themselves. And that's why I say you start off with 1, maybe 2 cars, and then you start working on rotation, right? You start seeing how everything goes, because 1 car, that's 1 car maintenance. But if you got like 5, 6, 10, 20 cars, all this maintenance is going on, it's going to cost you life. Your cars are not renting out there. So you want to take that in mind. You want to engage that. You shouldn't be buying cars every 2 months. You should be looking at this maybe 2 cars a year or so. And I know you say, man, that's just it. But you got to account for maintenance. People forget about that all the time. Now, I will talk about the final one, guys. And please bear in mind, the final one is tip number 7. Run final numbers against the things to avoid checklist. Now, this checklist is in my book. It's in my PDFs. This is something that you definitely can get. So let me just break that down. Before you buy or run all your numbers against the things to avoid checklist, this checklist has saved me money and my clients from some awful purchases. Even if the deal looks good, signal, red flag. Just 1 red flag: a bad car fix, missing records, sketchy seller, means you walk away. No exceptions, no modifications, no waivers, none of that right there. You're not just buying a car. You got to remember this. You are investing in a business asset. Treat it like one. Do not treat this as a hobby. If this is a hobby, then this is not meant for you guys. So the full checklist is in chapter 2. It's starting out on Turo. It's much, much more in here. There's chapters that are going to expand on the basic fundamentals on how to get yourself started on Turo versus you buying a big giant course and getting overwhelmed. I have courses, but if you're looking for something just to see, let me see if this is actually making sense before I go ahead, then this is the book for you guys. Now, talking about the course I have, it is available for you. It's available. The link's going to be down below. This is where I teach people, a lot of my students, how to go into a more in-depth. Now, with the course in mind, I give more interactive. It's more videos. There are text messages. There are templates. There are setups for you, so you don't have to go through the whole Turo process trying to figure out what do I say, how do I script it. And I show you basic guidelines right here. And I give you one-on-one help too, which is offered in the course. All that and more is going to be featured down below in the description. Make sure you click on it. If you believe I provided you value, drop a comment down below. Let me know. Give me thumbs up, give me some likes, and make sure you subscribe. If there's something that you think I should be bringing up in regards to these 7 tips, what would it be? What would you say as far as a host or someone new? What would be something that you might avoid that may not have been mentioned? Drop your comments down below. Until then, guys, I see you next time. Take care.